Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Again, today we are going to look at our mother's beauty that they are honored with in terms of interpretations, or in terms of interpretations of the ayahs of the Holy Quran. Because Allah, the most holy glorified Allah, honored mothers with a great, great, holy, very holy, divine honor as well as task, so that men who are working today, those in the United Nations Assembly, those in New York, Wall Street, those in wherever you are, Sydney, London, Paris, Moscow, Japan, you name it, any place on this planet. It's your mothers who were able to carry that honor and celestial obligation and task, honor task, the holy divine task, that you are able to walk as living human beings on this planet. Men out there, some of you call yourself the kings. So with that, I remind you, whoever you are as a living human being, that do look at your mother as one of the greatest beauty, how to interpret the beauty of life. Life is a religion. Life is a religion. Life is a religion, a very, very beautiful religion. That is, if you are within the holy prescription and directives of Al-Mustaqim. Al-Mustaqim is when you are only walk on a path whereby you do not put your personal desires, lusts, and whatever over that which Allah has said. No. Allah says, do not consume alcohol. Allah says it in the Holy Quran. It's a direct law. Direct law, not an encrypted law, but a direct law. Allah says, men and women are forbidden, you as living creation, do not consume alcohol. Do not allow alcohol in your bodies. Because your body does not know how, does not have the know-how or the mechanisms to remove that gunk, those deadly toxins, which are called it's a gunk, because once alcohol enters the human body, it kind of forms, the way it invades the muscle tissues, it kind of forms into what we call a gunk. A gunk is something, a chemical within the whatever before you consume it. But then when it enters the human body, it produces very deadly attacks on every muscle tissue, as well as the entire body organ applications, which is in which the alcohol toxin gunk stops any regeneration, any regeneration of muscle tissues. It cuts off that whatever. And after that, alcohol goes in every muscle tissue, circulates in every muscle tissue, causing a very deadly effect, which is, and now what when you know, because Allah has forbidden alcohol, He says, I do put a burden of a curse on anyone who produces alcohol, who sells it, and that's who drinks it. So with that, those who boil, or what we call those who, I don't know how they call, what do they use when you're making alcohol? They are manufacturing alcohol. Brewing. Those who brew the alcohol. Allah curses them. He curses the one who sells the alcohol, and He curses the one who drinks it. So that way, there is a very deadly whatever in that. Before we go to there's an interpretation in that. Do not ever allow your bodies to be put under a due stress of what we call deadly alcoholic toxin gunk toxins, because once you put alcohol in your body becomes your brain neurons cannot function. Your brain neurons, the neurons here, that those muscles, that jelly thing in your hair, in your what you call the brain, it cannot function because the toxic whatever cuts of any electrical spasms of the brain neurons. They cannot communicate with the heart, and the heart cannot communicate with the brain, and the entire body goes into what we call a partial paralysis. A partial paralysis. That's when men cannot express, when you ask them, are you drunk, or what's your name? And they cannot say. They cannot say because their half of their body, whatever, every muscle tissue and every body organ is into what we call a partial paralysis. The brain has shut down. The brain doesn't have any electrical spasms in order to execute any what we call a communication, interaction with the rest of the rotation and sequencing of any internal body organs, even outside. So that way, Allah forbade, said, put that holy divine in the lake law. Do men and women do not consume alcohol, because it's a deadly substance when it enters your bodies. We will continue from there. I said to you, my people, do not celebrate what you call the New Year's Day. The New Year's Eve, the New Year's Day with a ton of alcohol in your body. That way you'll be booking what you call early dementia, whatever, in any of your nearest hospital. If you put the alcohol that you're celebrating a New Year's Day, man, you're not celebrating. You're putting what you call your early application to early dementia. Early dementia and very painful pain, what we call a headache. Hangover headache. Hangover headache. And so many other things. Because that way, whenever you put alcohol in your body, You are building what you call pain stores. Nobody else is an investor. Nobody else is an investor in your body except you who has allowed alcohol to enter your body. So you're building a pain store. And you are the beneficiary, the benefit, whatever of that very superstore you're building, to a pain store. You suffer the pain when it's an emergency, call the emergency, whatever. It's you they'll throw in an ambulance and then you end up an ICU, intensive care unit, intensive care, whatever you call intensive care, intensive ICU, intensive whatever that they have, split your chest and try to put your heart, say whatever, to give it direction that you are fighting for your life. Fighting for what? For your life, because you made an error against the whole divine law. A whole divine law. In which Allah says, men and women do not consume alcohol. Because Allah knows He created every one of you. So that way, I say, many of you will be celebrating what you call a New Year's Eve until the New Year. Keep your body very clean so that you don't book another dementia appointment with whatever. And so many other painful whatever. So that way, maybe you look up to the New Year, planting trees, and you become a new thing that cares about your own life. Life is a religion. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. Life is a very, very beautiful religion. That is if you're not in a hospital. That is that if you're not in a superstore, your own superstore, which you build when you are putting alcohol either in your ears or in your legs, in your face, in your... And alcohol is very deadly. Before it becomes before your body becomes a superstore, a pain superstore, you know what alcohol does? It switches on an effect, an effect which is called the decaying, boiling, rotting effect that boils every muscle tissue in your body as human beings. That is when you experience pain here and there. That's when you experience pain here and there. And that's when you enter in the field of what we call early dementia. And cancer too. You enter a field where because in a state whereby every red and white blood cells are kind of in a state of, they are in a state of paralysis. A red and white blood cell has one very, very serious way they try to resuscitate themselves as red and white blood cells, because their religion is to give you life, to make you happy. Once they are kind of have been attacked by alcohol toxic gang, they go under a state whereby they cannot have direction. In that state, when a red and white blood cell has no direction, it can easily mutate into what you call a cancer cell, which may result into maybe brain cancer or breast cancer or anything. So, Akbar Assalam, my people, have a very happy New Year and do not consume alcohol. As simple as that. And plant trees. You can plant 100 trees on New Year's Day. And that will be a very, very beautiful contribution to your future generation children. Assalam Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.